Hello future tech leaders, I am Sindhuja. Based on my own experience, I know that learning the right skills can shape our future. What if I say learning was as thrilled as the tech world itself? There we go. A cloud foundation, that's exactly what you will experience. From day one, you will be immersed in the interactive sessions and expert-led courses that covers most of the widely used technologies in the zone of data science to cloud computing, which brings more light to the life of a techie. I'm so excited to help you and unlock the true potential of a technology. Well, then why to wait? Let's see what it unfolds.
I have to add more. I have added from starting to all the important one basics, one complex, one difference between the ask. The entire set of questions. You can go through that and let me know if you want to discuss any. And I have added right now till oath to provider. I need to add for ODC SAML and some miscellaneous one. I'll add it in the second set of questions today and share with you before tomorrow class. These are good ones, like all the endpoints, right? What are all the grant types? What are the works for the process? How you can tell them in interview, right? With example use case, I get the authorization grant response. What are the types of and oath to? What are the key components? Usually they ask about session termination, account, local. I do set for the transaction authorization. These are the questions. Some of them I phase it. I have written down them all. I'll add some more different multi-factor MFA. Why MFA is considered secure than single factor. The difference between authentication tree and chain service, and you can go through it. And what about nodes? What are the different nodes? We have can go through that. These are the questions you can go through from both the PPT and this into questions. And meanwhile, once you started working on that, now go through that document source on. From the 4 structures, we would have some more deep. And I did their knowledge over there as well. Because I get the first time you're working on it, but second time started working on looking at the things again. You will understand much better and I'll assist you to go through the document. Rate each topic in that document as well. You will understand how all that back end that works. Mostly they are asking grant types, single what grant types and multi-factor authentication. Explain the grant types and multi-factor authentication. And then trees, then explain about the nodes or trees or journeys. I have added. I'll try to add more on that on this part. I'll add it today and share it back to you. These endpoints, they are. That's a token device for the Micron interesting. We have practiced a lot. Just go through that once. You can, yes, and I have shared the PPT as well with you. Let's PT. The final one to what I'll share with you today for tomorrow. Tomorrow will be our last as well. I need to cover this zero trust approach. We'll cover today if you have time. Borrow, I'll cover just general view and let me know if you have any questions. They don't think like it's anything left from my side. I will inform to those guys that is not an issue. If required, I will be informed to the CloudFoundation team. In 1 or 2 hours. Sure, just tell them you have that. We have completed everything. What was that? That session we share here. Internally, they know. We are good. We have completed the change. Just a caution, if they have done, they can reach it again. It will be the extra right. You can share your screen. I'm just sharing my Did you restart the second services as well? See, go to the M1. 754. Both restarted. What's wrong? And how do you? Can you restart the Tomcat services again? AIM is not available. Go to the It's AMO/P. That second one is starting. It was a spirit. I remember. The one. Third one. Third one, yes, correct. I use this one. I don't know. Maybe initially, before starting the thing. Can I start SP on or can I start IDM? Now show me an IDP first. I just want to see it. 1. I got to the identities. No, sorry, not in identities. I mean entities. And it is an application. Do one thing. Can you create those 2 in top 10 instead of 1? Do that. Well, it's not just open the contractor one in second browser and just open the same. Maybe, I guess, because in other SP, right, we are creating a world, creating in a different realm. Can I create a problem here? In top 10, we can create an open one more browser to the means one more web tab. Not here, just after this one. Make it plus in next web tab. Go to the end. I go to the another realm. I just want to know what. Contractor realm. I go to the federation. Copy. Copy the 8 is a 9 Rajiv. 9-3. Copy this one first. And go to the Rubon. The previous tab. The About tab here. Can I go to Entity? Entity Providers. Identity Provider. A great one hosted. And I think I'd be. Can I create? These are only trends in right. You can make it, and I think we can use both of them. That's fine. Here nothing is changing, right? Just save it and we need to do that. That's fine. Assertion processing also. That's fine. That's fine. I want to change. Go to services. And now. Oh, sorry, we have created. Sorry, I'm one mistake. We just want SP and should be SP. Can you delete it and recreate it again? It should be. I thought we were getting IDP. Can I create here SP? Create SP here. Can I create? The same changes will need one change, but we'll do later. Come back to the entity. Remove this order format list to make it only transient for the SP. The assertion false. Also not required any changes here, right? And then go to services. Services. Single logout. Here we'll do it later. That's fine. Create the IDP, save the changes and create the IDP. Can I remove here bindings 2 and 3? Not. I'll tell you, just save it and create the IDP first. Where can I create IDP? Go back to the entity providers. Entity providers. Here only. Here only. Go back to your contractor elements. Copy the IDP once. Rajiv 8091/G1 year this one. Plus second. In the URL and in the IDP, both are same. Is it correct, right? That's right. I need to create IDP. Here entity ID and entity base URL. These are both. Not required any changes. Then we'll go to the assertion processing. In assertion processing, nothing is there. Services. That's why you can't. Manage name ID service. That's fine. I guess for IDP you can remain in default. Now can you go to the SP1 once? This is the first one. Scroll down. It's fine. Can you go to the services? Service. Scroll down. Scroll down. As I come to the assertion consumer service, can you make it? Remove the last two. And the other one, make it the HTTP post and add your IDP URL. Click on the link. Click on the edit one button. AP post. And here just make it to Rajiv. Index 1 and update. Make it index 1. Save changes. And save changes. Can you come to the IDP? I guess it's for IDP. I guess we are. Just go to the services once. Scroll down. Scroll down. Is it required to delete the bindings? Not IT. Scroll down. Scroll down. Scroll down a little bit more. Name I. Scroll down. I just want to go to the assertion ID request. That's right. Save changes. Can you go to the SP1 again? S. Services. Now can you go to the other application that's /SP1? Naughty. I mean to say in another web AM. This is Rajiv on right. I want to go to 8093. Go to the top. Go to the application, Federation. Federation. Go to the entity providers. Go to the SP. What are the services? Scroll. That's fine. That's fine. It's fine. Can you go to? Now go to the /Rajiv. What's the circle trust over here? Circle of trust here. Circle of trust. Bank of America. Can you go to the 8091 /Rajiv and create a circle of trust in Rotterdam? Same Bank of America. Not here, not here, not here. You have already not here. In the other one, 8091 /Rajiv. Because in the root, we don't have a circle of trust, right? We need to create. Already is there here. It's there. Oh, you've seen contractor, right? Go to the root level in another tab. And go don't go from there. We just open this tab. You have another tab already open, right? The first one. Go to the circle of trust. This is a top level and you have right go to the circle of trust. You are already on top level. You need to create in top level. Where we have IDP and all those created, go to the circle of trust in applications. Create. Create the two. Go to the entity provider. The third section. Just go to the space. You need to add the entity providers here. Add these two. Because we have to do in our root room, right? These two. But this entity name in circle of trust, right? We are adding that here. Save changes. Can I just a minute? So, save changes. Now go back to the U. I gave you one URL to test, right? Can you remove /contractor? /contractor only till /sp there. /contractor remove that. It was. Now we are testing from root room. And does this one correctly with admin user? Why are you getting this error? I know SP has been done. Is SP a TTP post? Go to the URL once again. Let's see. The space amount to speed. Actually, do you feel of the host? It's a 9 to use your SP similar to just be SPSSI. And then done this 10 years. Maybe binding HTTP both in DB entity ID. You should at least get the sign in on. Yes, correct. At least a sign in, maybe some fiber. This must be binding. HTTP post. Can you go to the your SP1 once? And can you add IDP once as well? IDP1. Here, can you go to the circle of trust? We have already saved changes, right? Go to the circle of trust one more time. You have this. Go to the CPA93/P. Can I go to provide any providers? Go to the entity providers. 80/SP localhost. Go to the SP. Go to the services/SP, right? That's fine. And go to the services once. This is service only. Yes, scroll down. Scroll down to come to a session. Consumer service. Go to the right view or URL once. URL testing URL. I can add a credit slash maybe. Thank you. Can you remove the slash at the end? No, try with the admin because these are common user for both. No, it should be the password. Yes, this is. Now we see a direct into the IDP. Now you can use with the AIM admin over there. I'm just testing. I'm just asking you to ask for the AIM admin password. We can use any password, any user ID. You can create same user on both, right? and a different user. It's fine. You should ask him for the IDP. That's how the SP works. Why it didn't work? Because if you see when we added in the services, go to the session consumer service in SP. And there we didn't have the slash over there when we are adding URL in slides. That's why if you see Emma, that's why we're getting that error. We need to give the exact location hold on IDP initiated. That's why was in my one is given slash. That's why my mind with working with slides. That's how you test the SP single sign-on initiated. I need to cover one thing regarding the zero trust approach, right? Let's share my screen. Are you getting any interviews lined up on? Do you have any other component in other product as well, like SailPoint or Cyber? SailPoint. I have a little bit knowledge, but not that much. I guess there are many opportunities. Basically, what happened here now? Forza kind of being whenever these both days are measured at the time. Forza is coming into the picture. Mostly coming days. There is no ping A. The time they will bulk recruitment will come. The bulk recruitment confirmed from other companies or from Ping itself. No, these are Forza only. Why? Because now Ping only access management and Ping Forza is access management and identity management and gateway and every component is there, right? Right? Nowadays, excitement is more out of the scope. MPO and the projects are turning to the Forza. In this scenario, Forza came and Ping. Both are same, right? Similar tool. All the best. In India market, Forza is the best or SailPoint is the best. I guess in India, both are here, but I guess SailPoint opportunities are more. In US, I see Forza is more. In Europe market, even like Forza is less, I guess. The SailPoint they want overall like identity access management mostly. In market Forza, there is no one knows. But now lost. A lot of people are coming to the Forza web scaling to the Forza. You get your project in your current company. Still looking. You can. All the nation is going on in market. All TCS. We provide all these companies turning to Forza. Data migration, right? See how it goes? And how the US market, like I heard in the new like economy, is going down. Not little. Out in 997. You are on visa working with over there or like it's only some natural news. You are trying to like get a green card over there already. How much time it will take? It will take 100 years. I heard in the news. But how can under the images just for a queue lineup is much? That's why. And it is almost the but these systems are. These guys are using a C, C++, stay till now. Work is not going fast. But there's also another reason, and then political issues. It's not easy to survive there. You made a bachelor. Back. Then you can manage, let's see. Can you give me to share screen? And you look at, I need to cover the zero. What was the zero trust? We have already touched that. We have already worked on it for. Like if you see the push authentication password, less push authentication and web authentication module, right? That are the part of the how we implement the zero trust in for your access management. But we haven't discussed what is actually the zero trust security and how it's implemented. Like, what's the use of it? Zero trust in AM is like, this approach is a security that assumes like no user, device or service, whether inside or outside the network, should be trusted by default. Even with the like, if you have username or not, your username is database something or record. They won't trust you by default. We are an internal member of a company. They want or outside member of the company. They will treat them equal. Every services, they will treat as equal. They won't trust anyone by default. Everyone need to verify, even not verified ones need to verify it continuously. And the resources is granted based on the like their identity verification. All real-time risk assessment. They keep on doing this analysis on them. How that there is not be a data breaches. There's not to be anything like there. They can leak the knowledge, right? I feel that that's where it comes to zero trust approach. Zero trust approach, a security in a forecast management, where they basically, in general language, it's a simple like they don't trust any of the services, any of the product, any of the user inside, out contractor, non-contractor, permanent employee, non-permanent employee. They will treat every one of them as an equal. That's what's called the zero trust approach. What are the main principles behind this zero trust approach? One is continuous monitoring and validation. That's what I'm just telling, right? If you see the parts of fellow, while we are using this monitoring and validation, right? There are zero track, zero trust, like they are zooms, like their records both in, within and outside the network. Like even if you are within the company, anyone can try to breach something or they won't try to harm the company or they can send the data outside. No user sold machine should be automatically trusted. They are there. Zero trust, like verify user identity and privileges as a device identity. Logins and connection timeouts periodically once established, forcing user to continuously verify. You remember like in session management, I have informed you, right? We have a limited session time, right? Like 30 minutes and then after 30 minutes they need to, or we can set that time over ourselves. They need to read and they will ask after that session time over. They need to re-log in or re-authenticate as well. That is one of the way to make you forcing the users to time out the connections once their session is over. And what then? There are devices as well, and then ask them to re-authenticate that they will be verified. Whoever been working on continuously, the same person is working right. And they are saving those information on the audit log, right? They can keep on monitoring and validation over there. And they can check that. And another one is a least privilege. Another principle of zero trust is least privilege access. This means like giving users only as much as access they need. Right. Just like any company, if you see it, any company or any defense company as well. They give only information to the need to know basis, right? This is minimum, as much as it means to say as much as minimum user exposure to the sensitive parts of the network. If you're working in a company or working in a high-end sensitive project like we are, the way we would like it, like some of the major, it goes for the defense company, right, where the access things taken as much sensitive, right? Even one information leak can be trusted to die, even for the company, for the country, right? It can it can expose our sensitive knowledge to the other companies, other enemy parts of the country or other country. We need to implement this least privilege. That's another part of the zero trust approach. If you see in a Forge, like how we did, I showed you the policy admin access, right? We can give all those limited access to the policies. Least privileges. We have this, if you could read, and that on, and you just showing it to you. If you go to the end, it did and groups, right? We see this one. This privilege is said, we can decide what privileges we can give up to that one, which each user or with each group we can have the members and tell which privileges that make you. We can go to the only read access layer, log write access, log read access write privileges. All these access, we can define that all content, then least privileged access. Means we are giving only users as much as they need. If they need more information, we can update our head information. I did update. They give them more information. If they don't remove it in the future, we can just remove it from here and they will not able to access all those infirmities. And other is device access control. Zero trust not only comes for the users as well, it also comes for the control on the device access as well. They need to monitor how many different devices are trying to access in the network and how the user is also connected, right, with the device which is connected. Are you connected with the phone? Are you connected with the iPad? Or are you connected for the laptop? Or you're connected with the multiple machines, right? They need to access it and they need to verify it. All the devices simultaneously. That's when device control is come. Remember, we have an authorization, we have the device code, right? That from there we can control all the devices from the Forge job. And one major and another one is the multi-factor authentication. This one, which is a major use for the core value, we say for the zero trust check. Because with MFA, we have more than one piece of evidence to authenticate the user. How we can authenticate the user for the evidence, right? Either you can go in a ForgeRock, how we have implemented. If you see this push authentication journey, right? This passwordless authentication journey, web authentication journey. If I go to the push authentication journey, in push authentication journey must have a tree, right? In push authentication journey. If you see, we have this node we have created, right? Where user have to log in for the username and then then go to the push authentication for click on push and this multi-factor authentication will be verified means the user will be verified, will be trusted once they move to the multi-factor authentication. That's a part of the zero trust approach. Even then if we don't want to trust the username, right? Can you write down one node? This journey, one or two journeys. Can you write down, please start your need, trees and nodes in where, in including the into anything. Sure, I learned it. You want to add the start, generate from start journey and just one journey. I'll add it now. I guess I showed that with the password lines push authentication journey. With this one, we have one more. If you remember, I'm sure we have added here. The weather and I did password, less push authentication journey. It's the same, right? It's all same like that. I'm a few authentication. Once we have done the push, because we need to configure the push authentication. Then we have the password less authentication journey. In password less authentication journey. Open this one, I'll show you in document list. We have done that. I guess this one I'm not seeing in a PPT and add it otherwise. If you see this, one password less authentication journey, right? If this is the password less authentication journey, this password less authentication journey, what does we configure the authentication trees, right? Before that, we configure this authentication tree, right, and we need to it. And then once we done it right, then for passwordless, when authentication for requires, we enter the user ID but not their password. Without it, the only user ID and AM sends push authentication to register device U for the password. Less journey means the password won't be required for the user, only he will be. Once you add the username or username, he will be directly asked to test the push authentication. That's called the password less push authentication password, less push authentication journey. But for that first we need to create the push authentication journey, normally with a username and password with everything. And then we need to create it because we have already done. We just need to create this limited nodes, right? We need only result as well. This push result verifier. That's from the password less push authentication journey. Push authentication journey and the password less push authentication journey is, you can say, on same as well or different as well. Same I was saying, because for password less push authentication journey, push authentication should be implemented first. And then you can able to make the password less, right? And that's a part of it. But there is one limitation for the password less push authentication journey. Like when authentication to password, the users enter the user ID, not their password. AM sends a push authentication to device to complete the authentication, right? But we need to see like who is the user ID, like we will be even if somebody get your user ID, right, by mistake or by chance, like, or by somebody try to hack it, they get your user ID that they can keep on hitting it, right? They can keep on hitting with the user ID again and you get this push authentication request again and again multiple times. Maybe they will. They can try to harm your system or harm your user ID. If they can keep on doing it, then your user ID could be deactivated or could be locked out, right? This is one of the limitations for the passwordless journey, right? This one. First, what I'm discussing over here. For the zero trust approach in ForgeRock, if we implement by the passwordless of push authentication journey and passwordless push authentication journey. For the passwordless push authentication journey, we first must have to create the push authentication journey, right? And then another way to do it, web authentication journey. Web authentication journey also is a part of the zero trust approach. We have done that. Where users' web authentication journey we discussed. That's where users can authenticate device such as fingerprint scanner or they can get the passphrase right when you scan it. User communicates with authentication device. For this one also, this also used for the zero trust approach because we don't need to put the username. Use them directly. Or even if you put it and then you need to have to add the multi-factor authentication to their device could be attached with the scanner. They can. Device can be tested with the YubiKey code. Their device can be tested with the passphrase on their system. They can test their system. They can test the user. That's the zero trust approach. Zero trust approach. It's not like that. They don't trust anything. They will only trust once. They will verify. You need to confirm or verify them again with a different way of them. Like, see, this is the user and the real user and I'm approving myself and verifying myself as a system is designed to confirm you like I'm the authenticated user. That's where the zero trust approach, the company will not trust you. You need to keep verify things as they ask you and then you need to do that multi-factor authentication. If you don't do that, they will throw you out of the system, they will lock you and they will not trust you. They will only trust you when you do all those authentication journeys, complete all the way they ask you to complete. There is zero trust approach. If you see in your company or other companies as well, they are removing from the password as well. They go for the PIN code or they go for the push authentication or they could go for the face authentication right directly. That's why that's a zero trust approach that most of the companies are moving to this approach. Even in my company that I don't put now username password, I just go for the face authentication or PIN code. But I don't know why they don't trust with the password, but trust me to add a PIN code. Even a PIN code, like I have to remember it and add it just like a password. But they still think it as a zero trust approach. And I don't understand why they are using the PIN code as a zero trust approach or something. But face authentication I understand face authentication only whoever uses it. PIN code means it's like a OTP, right? It's not like an OTP. There is a like set of PIN. If you PIN code, if you go in the bank, right? They ask you to log in with the PIN. Something you remember. Right? That's a PIN code. But don't know why they use it as a PIN code. It's like a password. And even if password is little difficult to other member to see what password you are entering. Even if you are entering the PIN, anyone can see it. Similar. They may be May they're using the PIN code as well for as a zero trust approach, but I know I don't like it. I am but I like what? The face authentication is good, or scanner is a thumbs up scanner is good for the zero trust authentication approach. That's good, but they have the PIN code. I'm not sure how long they'll be able to trust it. But if you see these authentication in your real time how you're going in a company, right? Or that's what you will able to understand more, how they perform internally of this authentication journeys and purposes. This is about the zero trust approach that we are using. They can also ask me. They will ask about the zero trust approach, not regarding the FOR job, but they will ask you the zero trust approach in general. Interview question like, what's the zero trust approach? Because it's been keeping by, and zero trust approach, how you can implement it. We'll just know what's the zero trust approach. What are the key things in zero trust approach, and you can tell them we can implement by the push zero authentication journeys, password as switch authentication journeys, web authentication journeys are the way to implement the zero trust approach in the VIA for sure. That will be the limited answer. Then they can ask you, what's the push authentication journey? Then they can ask you, what is the web authentication journey? Then they can ask you, this is a multi-factor, because multi-factor authentication is a part of the zero trust approach. We can use that. You can tackle those questions like this. And I guess regarding the interview questions, I'll add the ODC and everything I have added. Resource owner auth 2. I have added this one. I'll add the 3 part of an eating tree. I have added the multi-factor authentication, but I guess I didn't add the flow. I'll add it for the push authentication and all authentication. I'll add the flow. I'll add it more in detail today. You will get a full list of interview questions. This is, I guess, what you have. What is AI Planet Pro? Remember that this one is also important one. They will ask you, what is this one? This is the by default cookies created, right? What is the name of it, right? Session cookie name. How do you can change the session cookie? This one. I guess not this one. I have added a collector. What a decision or collector? Not single outcome, not multiple nodes. And this is a common utility node. What do you mean? What are the utility nodes they can have in a tree? Value at all, right? They can ask between authentication tree and chain. Authentication chains are the legacy feature. We can say each chain is predefined with step is authentication module. Authentication chain are the more than effort to intelligent authentication. They allow for dynamic authentication. Authentication chain consists of such as in fixed linear sequence like verifying password, authentication to little graphical or node based. Like step and steps nodes can be a branch. Users pass through each module in chain sequentially the process equally little widget. Right where user transfer the tree based on the input and the condition defined in the tree. The flow is dynamic. Limited flexibility you have in a chain and the highly flexibility you have in a tree. What is the multi-factor authentication or the different types of it? Why the MFFA considered as more secure? How you can check? If they can also, how do you check? Ping me presenting. You know that, right? Is a live.jasp. You can check. This is an example. How to configure them session? They can ask you. Is there any like easily.jasp similar kind of JWT also? Same kind of JWT, I don't get you. Same URL /JBooty something. Is there any endpoint? JWT, you're saying haha. Love. I guess we want to check the JWT URL. Zero. Check in the system JWT URL. Basically, it will tell them job web token information. Zero. Zero. URL. Basically for this one is your endpoint we can use to check the OIDC or no. Get rid of things. Maybe I need to update this URL to check that. Basically for the token verification or validation that this URL we use. Basically for the token verification or validation that this URL we use. Maybe I need to update this URL to check that. Maybe I need to update this URL to check that, I guess. This is our token JBook URL you have. You see, this is how we can connect with the JDBook URL. It have the list of what are the keys we are using, right? This is used for the in order to an open ID that refer to the JSON website key web, JSON web key set. This will provide us all the information regarding the keys they are using. That as AAC, then all this information. When a client interacts with authorization server to use the JBook URL, and we can connect with this JBook URL language. I'll add in 2 questions and we can discuss more tomorrow. I'll go through that because this will relate it to this OpenID configuration. Then we discuss it. Then I'll show that the JBook URL over here. It has all this. I'll just go through this one again tomorrow. That's why I'm over there. I'll add into the current version. This is basically the URL. Just well copied. You can check it on your machine as well. Just copy this one. Take it. If you're directly able to hit it. And finally, do not forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel.